Making sure I recorded it too. Yeah, so for our first couple meetings, what we did was we went through and we started out by like talking about like key components. And then we went through and looked at some mock-ups, which was like, a dashboard. And the idea is that you can add customers to like either you're going to search for them or you're going to add them on the fly into the standalone referral piece. And then, when you add them, you identify what services they need referrals for. And then you just select a provider that you would like to refer them to. And, you can go in and remove a service, add a service, edit that at this point. And then it does a summary and we have a consent piece. If the consent's active, you could send it, or you can add notes to it. This is like the consenting process. And like I said, you could add notes. You can send them all at one time. And then the person that's receiving, I'm going through this really quickly, just as a quick update for Annie. We have the referral form. And then we talked a little bit about the contacts and, how to handle and sending the contacts and so forth. And you'll see the services that are required. And then they can provide an update with the referral status. And then each person would have, their individual level of, seeing the referral history, the consents. They can open it up and see the thread. And then they can see the referral details with history at the end of it. So I walked through this process, the mock-ups. Then we touched on, we would use the service locator in order to, build off that tool because the partners are in the system already. But then to be able to add in, if they're accepting referrals and so forth. So that would be part of like the service locator. Now, through this process and this discussion, there were some things that came up that we put on our like kind of tabled it for later discussion. And so the things that we gathered, we put on this board here. And so the goal today is to revisit these items that came up during our discussion and identify which ones are must-haves and which ones would be, when we say must-haves, it would be something that you would need for what we call a minimal viable product. So something to, get out there and start using. And then, but then also, like which parts of these would be enhancements. So after you start using the system for a little while, then, based on feedback from the field, we could make updates and then add enhancements in at that time as well. So
You.
Mhm. So a couple of these things that came up. And so I have some little, here, I'm going to put the link. Um, in the chat here. So if you want to look and zoom around, comment, you're more than welcome to. So the first part that we have here is the idea is to upload customer documents. So allow partners to upload documents and attach to the referral. Allow partners to view and upload documents and attach the referral response. So a couple questions we had out there. Are there any policies about sharing this type of information? And I guess that would be question one. Do you know? And then two, um, how do we determine who can view and upload documents? Is it that just pretty much anyone who's been vetted and has access to the system, or is it only certain levels of partners? What are your thoughts? The floor is open for discussion on uploading customer documents.
I feel like that would be a question for the agencies across titles. So like, I don't know if Title II is necessarily here from ICCB, but like uploading test results, or, they might have specific opinions about that document in particular. So it's like the different documents that each title requires, they may cause the opinions to vary on what can and can't be up there.
You make me think of if I can get this through copy. It makes me ask the question because you said assessments. So I'm going to put it on here. Like, what type of documents would you would be like? Would someone expect to upload?
Is that a question, or that's your comment?
Yeah, it is. I mean, it's a question of just
for the note, yeah.
like what would you expect? Because you mentioned the assessment piece. And we do have tools in Illinois workNet where you can enter like other assessment data. So if you had, certain types of scores or something, maybe it would just be something that would live with that customer's assessment as opposed to uploading a document, and then we could have more control over who can see those types of things.
I have a question just about the system in general. Will this have the capability to kind of tie to our other systems where partners are already uploading documents and entering eligibility like Career Connect or Daisy or systems like that, just so that we're not creating a space where they're just having to upload the same things again or enter the same information?
Right. Well, this will be used with the tools that are in Illinois workNet and the updated version for IWDS. As far as other connections with other partners, systems, that discussion hasn't
Got it.
taken place, or at least I haven't been part of those discussions. So I think what I'm hearing.
Yeah, no, that's right, Natasha. We haven't, I mean, right now, this is just the standalone modules just for, partners that want to use it, but the referral module is going to be integrated into IWDS 2.0 and will be required to be used as part of IWDS 2.0 for WIOA.
It sounds like if we all have agreement that this should be something that's more of an enhancement as opposed to a must-have out the gate. Still have unanswered questions, probably.
I have one question, Lisa, for the requirement.
Yeah.
That is, so we will roll it out as this is your required universal referral system.
Right.
Okay.
Or Title I, yes.
Oh, for Title One.
Yes, for Title I. And I want to be clear about that because I've already heard some feedback that we're developing a system for the entire universe and it's going to be required. And that is not at all the case. So I want to be crystal clear about that. This is just for Title I.
Oh,
That's why it has the that's why it has the email function. So that if you're referring to a partner that's not using our system or the tools in workNet, then that they would get an email for the referral. But you can certainly, because I know we're talking about, we have at least one LWIA that's going to test it with their partners, the standalone module. It's going to test it with their partners. So, it's certainly up to each individual partner right now anyway, till IWDS 2.0 rolls out.
Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and move on to appointment times. This is a feature that we can add. I think it would be more of an enhancement. I haven't had a lot of people like mention that we needed to start out with adding the appointment times in there. We do have a tool in Illinois WorkNet where you can set up various appointment times, and then whenever someone is trying to set up a time with you, they can select from that list of appointment times, and it would be included in the referral. What are your thoughts on this? I guess I won't put that flag there yet. Let me go ahead and grab one. Is this like an enhancement or a must-have? Based on people not just jumping up and saying it's a must-have, I'm going to say it's an enhancement.
Well, yeah. Well, I think it has to be. I mean, it
Yeah.
should be because not all partners are going to use the system.
Yeah, I mean, it would still let you do it with or without the appointment time, but if you had appointment times, you would be available, but we'll go ahead and, okay, so the next one that we have, get my little thing to move around, allowing a self-referral. It just came up in conversation, so it's added here. I don't have any like description of what that means or any questions about it. What are your thoughts? Because I can start typing in the ideas here or questions.
I guess my question would be, how would they even access that to do a self-referral? Would it be through Illinois WorkNet? Through the, Finder?
Yeah, I mean, that's how I would have, I mean, we haven't mocked it up or anything, but that would be my assumption, is that we would, if they did the service locator and found your organization, it'd be like, I don't know what the wording would be. It's probably not referral, but it'd be, submit a request for more information or whatever the wording would be, and they would click on it and fill out the form and have somebody get back to them. Unless somebody already has like a self-referral something already established.
I'll jump in here because we have two self-referral pathways for customers in our area. One is specifically through Title I, where a customer can select the services they're interested in, and then they select an American Job Center. They're not selecting an organization. It's up to the Title I organization to like assign themselves to that referral, or if an individual says, I'm interested in adult ed or something like that, then that Title I contact will kind of transfer that referral to the appropriate partner. But we don't, it's set up sort of like a form where they don't, so customers don't risk like seeing other people's information type of thing. They can submit their interest in a specific service, but they're never logging into our system for us. But and then we have it for more specific services for our career pathways navigators. Customers can refer themselves to
Where does
navigation
that go
services.
to?
Ours goes to our Airtable referral system that we have. Mhm.
So that
So
would
it
be
was,
more of an enhancement to the service locator than it would necessarily be to this referral system.
to me, it sounds like it would be, just because you said it went to your Airtable referral system, it would be basically a form that would be, identify different services, whatever that form would look like. And then it would go to, whichever American Job Center or whatever, your group, you know. Um, sounds like there's still probably a lot of questions that would need to be answered around this. Like, can they refer themselves to any organization, or really should it funnel through specific pathways? I don't know. But I think, Joel, you said like your vote is enhancement for the future, or
Yes,
okay. Anybody
just
else?
because I think because we don't have necessarily a way of a doorway for the sort of public to get to this system. And it's more you would need to somehow link the service locator to this referral system some way.
Oh, it
So
is
that
going to be referred. It will be linked. That's where they're actually putting in
okay,
all their information. So it sounds like, for the example of where it's going to Airtable, you have your, I'm assuming your web page, and you have your link essentially that you would click on, which would either expose fields or open a new something that's a form, and then they would submit the information. And so I think that it's obviously a very doable thing. It's just more of a trying to, like, what does that look like? Is it something that,
I think each area would need to figure out how they want those things to be routed.
yeah, exactly.
Because I'm sure in my area they would be routed to me, and if we can come up with a better alternative, I would
Well, then also it's
appreciate
like,
it.
well, do they, we've had some interesting people contact, us in the past, where it's like, I'm pretty sure that they've contacted everybody in the state. It's like, do they contact every partner? Um, I don't know. It's okay. Bulk referrals. Um, this one, if I remember correctly, seemed like it was something that would have been kind of a low-hanging fruit that um would be of a big benefit to the LWIAs. Let's see, the system will allow for bulk referrals, let's say from the workshops, and then a bulk response to those.
That was like for the RESEA workshops that IDES does, that then they would actually just be able to do a bulk referral of all of those people who come to those workshops, and that there would be sort of a standard response to them.
Right. because they don't, let me, I gotta remember here. So allow an upload from an Excel document and treat it like a workshop rather than a referral. So the time frame may be different than a standard referral. Name, address, phone number. Automatically respond with the email to let them know they received the name from, and then, so I'm trying to remember the details on this. So whenever this RISA workshop occurs, IDS puts all this information, either they compile it somehow and then they send it to the Title I person. And then and so do they contact each of those individuals and say, or do they just send it to the Title I person, and the Title I person basically sends an email out to everybody that says these are the resources in our area? But it's not like what is that, am I remembering that correctly?
I think the original thought was that we hoped that IDES could just do it directly and not have to send us the list that then we send out. But, you know, that might be hoping for more than is actually what IDES will do. I mean, I know like in our current situation where we have, they send me individual referrals of everybody. And then I have to figure out which office, or even if sometimes they're not in our area, then I have to, but I just send a bulk email.
We also we have our Title I send a bulk, like a BCC email, just because they send all RACA attendees to WEO orientation. I don't know what it is like in other areas, but our regional IDS staff have kind of expressed like it's not mandated, but it's kind of low-key mandated, like they're required to send everybody to at least WEO orientation interest. But we do have a way, and I'm curious the capabilities of this module to be able, like I probably just need to, I missed the other meeting, so I probably need to go look and see what entering a referral would look like. But if there's a way to kind of, at the end of entering a referral, we have an ability to like kind of click a button at the end saying, I want to send another referral, but not have to fill out my information again, and kind of bring it back to just one section of the referral, so they're not entering as much and it's less time consuming. It kind of autofills like the preliminary stuff to send an additional customer for the same services.
So if they could bulk upload and then it would just populate, maybe you even have like a separate tab or something that's just for this RISA, if I'm saying that correct, thing. And then you can look at, I mean, if you have their address, I mean, we could figure out if they're in your LWIA or not. And then you could do like click, 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 click. For these people are in my LWIA, send a response that says an email response.
Mm-hmm.
And if they're not in your LWIA, then click, 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 and send them a different response.
Sorry, I need to just go. I only like briefly watched the recordings. So for like people filling out referrals, are they tied to an organization? If they're filling out a referral and they have an account, are they tied to an area or an office, or how are they identifying who they are when they're filling out a referral?
Well, they would be tied to whoever's, so in this case, it'd be tied to whoever logs in and uploads them to the system. And then they would have to, identify. That's why I'm like, I think we had this conversation maybe with Joel more before, but he was saying that, he got quite a few,
Mhm.
everything coming to him. You know, I don't know how it works for every area, but
It's usually by office. So like the IDS local office would upload, like I would think they would be responsible for uploading the referrals to whoever the local Title I partner for would be in that local area.
mhm.
Yeah, no, sorry, I was kind of jumping on you trying to identify where the referral would go and needing to kind of backtrack if they're not in the area. Because I guess if they're sending it from a local office or an IDS region, those offices would be tied to a certain area. And if that customer's going to that workshop for that office, then I mean, maybe not, but it'd be surprising if they didn't live in that area or live in the area that's tied to that office.
It sounds like this is something that would save everyone a lot of time, but I'm wondering if we have this as an enhancement, as like a phase 2 part of it, as opposed to phase 1, just because it seems like there's still quite a like logistics and also working with partners to make sure that they're okay with uploading this information. Um, what's the group's consensus on that?
Well, even if you could allow, I mean, allow some sort of bulk upload, even if we just did it through iWiz, just doing just running a profile report, that then it would come into a spreadsheet that then you could even just send bulk up to that. That might be, somewhere to start. Or we wouldn't have to work, because I think there's a lot of overlap with the RESCA and the profile test.
Um,
Yeah, so that's two separate things. So so Natasha, in Illinois in IWDS, we have like a profiling list and Jill, I think you should be able to export it in Excel format from IWDS currently.
Yeah, you can do it into a spreadsheet, but then to
Yeah.
try to turn that into a bulk mailing is
Right. Got it. Okay. But in that system, it's just kind of preliminary factors that could be potential individuals that would officially land on the RISA list for IDS. So local offices then typically have a local RISA list then that they give that list to Title I partners, for follow-up in connecting individuals to services and just awareness of services on Title I's end. So we kind of use, like, most local areas use that list, the profiling list in IWDS is more like a lead list, for potential outreach, where the RESA list, how do you want to say it? Once that official list comes through, there sometimes is crossover for individuals. I know IDS prefers that we use that list that they provide, because that's more of an official follow-up where individuals have indicated that yes, they're anticipating a response in some sort of follow-up service. So I'd say if there is an option to do some sort of a bulk upload in the referral system tied to, between local offices, that would probably be the recommendation. And if there is like an outlier where for some reason that individual doesn't reside in the area, maybe they, it could be a disciplinary worker, they work in that area, so they file with that local office, but they reside somewhere else. At that point, the local areas usually do a good job about making the referral to look versus something else, that individual.
and then if you still get the list from IDES, then if you've already done this report, that you've already reached out to that person. Is that what you're kind of thinking?
Yeah, IDS is like their stance is going to be they'd rather have us use the RISA list that the local areas are receiving. the challenge with that is that I think it comes in different formats. But on the local area, some of them receive, more of a PDF or paper list or email list. So like being able to formalize that in the referral system, if part of that process is to make a required referral, I think we would want to be able to track that.
Mhm.
Where the
And-
profiling list in IWDS is just a resource. That's not, it's just a resource that we tapped into in terms of data integration.
And then the referrals that IDES makes generally are those who are in the workshop who have stated an interest.
Yeah.
Whereas that profiling list is just everybody who's filed for unemployment. And that's all you know about them, except for that somehow the black box says that they have a greater than normal chance of exhausting their unemployment.
Yeah. So I'm in, like for LBS 7, you guys, don't they do a bulk upload in Airtable?
So we no longer do a bulk upload. We were able to implement a feature where I think I maybe mentioned it right before you logged in, where
I'm
at the end
sorry, I
of,
know. I don't
no,
mean
it's
to make you
okay.
repeat yourself.
No, it's okay, because for our system, it's one referral per service.
Right.
And so we implemented a feature where at the end of sending a referral, there's two options. You can either send another referral for the same customer, and you only have to fill out the last piece of the referral form or questions, or you can send just another referral for a new customer, and they don't have to fill out their like sending or their contact information again. They're just filling out the customer's information, to kind of reduce the amount of time, because that was a major complaint that they couldn't upload bulk referrals.
Mhm.
But we were able to add that feature at the end of the form to kind of save them time and not have to fill out from scratch all over again. And then additionally, we have kind of a checkbox. I see on here, flag the referral type as RICA. We assume if it's from IDS, it is RICA, but we have a flag for if it's a priority referral or a warm referral from IDS. So it's more than just general outreach. It's someone attended the workshop and they said, no, I am interested in WIO orientation. I'm ready to like get outreach and attend and show up. Which is really important for our Title I partners, because they're like, okay, who am I sending a bulk email to, and who am I actually going to try to call?
Yeah.
But yeah, we
And
don't have bulk.
Yeah. Okay. And I think that that's an important distinction, like in that referral process, right? Like having somebody that anticipates it, like, oh, somebody's going to be reaching out to me versus, just kind of a general outreach with follow-up information. And so they're going through each individual and entering them one by one.
Yeah. I mean,
Okay.
it's like pretty quick. Like
Yeah.
we're only collecting basic information for our
Right.
customers. So it's like name, phone number, email address, and the services they're interested in, and zip code, but we don't collect addresses. We don't collect date of birth. It's basic because we don't collect personal information.
Yeah.
So that makes it a little easier. And if they have like repeat customers, partners are able to search a customer's name and send the referral, so they don't have to fill out the customer's info again. They can just select that customer's profile and tie it to the referral.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And it's by office, right? Like, so each local office knows, like, they're tied to their local AJC center. So like the IDS office in Harvey is gonna send that referral to the Prairie State AJC for Title I services. Like they know, like it's categorized by location.
So yes, but it's beyond just the local office. We've set up our system for like Title I is obviously tied to an AJC.
Mhm.
IDS, they're tied to a local office, but also their IDS region. And in Cook County, we have 3 regions. So the regional staff are a big part of training folks in entering the referrals, but the regional staff are the ones that are going in and like monitoring and checking referrals or making corrections to referrals, things like that. We don't have our local IDS staff in our system. We just have our regional staff in our system, which is kind of crazy, but
Yeah.
there's a lot of
Okay.
a
Yeah.
lot of referrals. So there's
Well, that's why, yeah.
probably,
So that's why they streamlined it with like a regional
yeah.
point of contact. Yeah. Okay.
So, and I'm sure that would look different in different areas. So
So for today's conversation, is this considered a must-have or an enhancement?
I would vote a must-have just because, I mean, I know this is only going to be mandated for Title I. I mean, of course, don't just take my vote here, but I would say 60% of the referrals in our area are from IDES. And so that's like a big chunk of referrals.
Yeah.
So
I would agree with that.
And I would say if we want to encourage partner cross-title usage, we want to make it as user-friendly as possible to accept and receive referrals.
I mean, at least, and like in our area, I know, I mean, right now, they're doing referrals through our sort of clunky system. So I don't see it as being a stumbling block, at least locally. I mean, they prefer a nicer system. So,
Yeah, and I can do, we can work on mock-ups for this, so, and get those out to everyone to get feedback on that as well, so, but, so I'll go ahead
the one
and,
thing is that if there's be a way that, because I don't know if you, I mean, you get the same issue is where they'll make referrals of people who really aren't in your LWIA. And so then you have to figure out where to refer this person because you're not going to serve them. I know we get that because because the local thing, they get RESEA people from that should be, career link down in Peoria. And so then I'm having to figure out, okay, who do I send that
yeah,
information to? So if
we
that could
don't,
be by zip code or whatever, that those referrals would be automated, that would be ideal.
Mhm.
Or at least by county, that I
would
think
this
that was one of the things
system,
that we said in there was one of the sort of required fields would be county.
would
Although Cook
this,
is different.
yeah, it is. My question is, would this system allow us to send referrals outside of our area? Like actually send referrals to another LWIA?
we don't
We
have
only
anything
experience,
to stop it.
okay. We just need to identify where they're from.
Yeah, so whenever you, you search or add a person and you say what services they want, and then the next step is to select a provider. And I think we have it set up now. I'd have to look at the details, but I think it's like, it's going to provide you with the providers that offer that service within 10 miles of the address. And then, but then you can search out further. So there's nothing that's necessarily stopping. At least currently, we don't have anything in there. Mock-ups to say it won't allow you to.
Yeah, no, I think that's good. We have only just in our northern part, we have referrals coming to and from like the northern collar counties, which has been like, especially from IDS. So I'm just curious.
I think this next one goes hand in hand with what you were just saying as far as forwarding a referral. If you, but I must have just jotted it down as a note. And it wasn't, we didn't have any long conversations about this. Does anybody have any thoughts or?
Being able to forward a referral, I think, would be required, a must have.
So, so if someone,
That would alleviate some of the problem that we just talked about previously. Or if it's just sort of a one-click forward, that would be.
well, okay, yes. So let's talk about this just for a second. So would it be a building onto this logic? For referral, would it be like something that goes along with either referral closed? We would put in here about, or do we just need to add another another status here for referral forwarded or
Yeah, you
referral
would.
not accepted and forwarded, or?
We ran into this pretty quickly because you want to know what happened to the referral. You want to know what step in the process people are in with
Mhm.
a customer. And so there would have to be some way to identify a new status or a secondary status because, say, Title I receives a referral and this person's interested in whatever training, and they begin the process to receive service, but while they're talking to them, they also realize, oh, this person needs some sort of assistance that Title I does not provide. Would this enable them to just forward that information to another partner or would they be required to send a brand new referral for that customer? Like, what would be the bounds around forwarding a referral? Would it be just, we haven't done anything yet, we can't serve them, we're going to send it to someone else, or we can be working with them, but we also want to send them to another partner, which gets a little bit tricky of knowing, okay, if this referral is completed, this person's got everything they need, does it mean they got everything they need from both partners they've been referred to, or just the initial one? Just something to think about.
I don't know if it would go, I mean, if you wanted to add it into like a referral closed, because like then I would assume that means that you're out of the loop, but this is the next step that happened. Yeah, I don't know what is the best way to do it, because either if the referral's closed, you don't want to send your person around here and there and everywhere. But I mean, I guess at this point in time, if you started with provider A and they sent you to the next provider B, and you say, I can't help you, but provider C can. So I would think that if you had like a referral forwarded, it'd pretty much mark them as done with that person on that particular service. And you'd still have to go through the process. So you select the service, and if the person would have to give consent if the person that you're referring them to wasn't already in the system and they didn't have consent. You just have to kind of, yeah, I don't know what
Well, and
I
here,
don't.
and the thing is it's kind of two different points where you might do a additional referral. One would be if they inquire into Title I and then they say, well, I just need rental assistance or I need my GED, then we're not going to be the one helping them. So those referrals. But if you actually are going to help them and in the process of doing their ISS, then you see, oh, you also need this, then that's a different type of referral. Where you're actually still going to be, with that person, but you're just getting additional services within their service strategy. So then I don't even know if you would necessarily use this system to do a referral, but you could, or if you just, pick up a phone yourself.
Yeah, I don't know what type of, I don't know if this impacts any type of reporting pieces that you need.
It would because like in our local area, our board likes to track, what referrals we're doing. So the more, if we could have this done through the system and then run reports, that way with all of the referrals, no matter how they're done, would be accounted for.
So is the vote to add another, sounds like, if I'm hearing you correctly, that the vote is to have maybe, I don't know where it goes in this order, but I don't want to say denied, but would it be like a subset of referral closed, or would it just be like service not available, like service not like, or just forward referral, but the intent would be it's because either you don't have capacity or you don't offer that service.
I think we probably need to brainstorm, but for us, we consider if a partner has assessed the referral they received and they're like, we know we can't provide it, but I know who can, and they send that to a new person, it's considered completed on their end because they still identified the need and sent a new referral, and that's put in a note saying, forward this person along to this partner who is enrolling for this or does provide this service, because then it is a positive outcome for them as the individual who did get that count of a referral.
So would they just mark it as referral completed, and then they would just go in and create a new referral for that person, essentially, as opposed to
It
tying
depends
that
on
to
what
this one?
it depends on what step in the process. So for ones where it's really clear what the services they need and they know they can't provide that service before they even reach out to that customer, they forward it to the next person, and then they're not responsible for any sort of status because they do nothing. But if they reach out to the person, they're in process with them, they mark it as completed and send a new referral. But because they're already in the system, they really only have to fill out the new services. They're just selecting a customer that already exists. But yeah, it would be a new referral. But I don't think it'd be negative. I feel like denied or like closed feels like it's like a bad outcome, but they are connecting the customer to the appropriate service.
And then it would be on the other one, if they're in the system, to say, then they would update and say that the referral was closed or whatever. So it would be so then they would also get credit for receiving and doing something with it.
Natasha, can you pull up the list of the different status options?
Oh, am I not? Yeah, it is right here, right? Yeah, am I sharing my screen? No. Oh,
You're not sharing your
I'm
screen
sorry.
right now.
Here, this entire time I'm just walking.
Well, it's a good thing you weren't doing anything inappropriate.
Yeah,
not knowing.
I'm just like thinking I'm sharing my screen the entire time. And you guys, I'm sorry. Anyway, yes. Have I not been sharing my screen this entire time? I apologize.
No, you have not.
Oh my gosh, I am so sorry. I thought this entire time, here, I'll just show you what I've been doing. What this was, and then Annie probably
You did
thinks
for a
I'm going,
while, but
oh,
not.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
This is
not
what
since
I
I've
was
been
showing.
on.
This is what I was showing. I thought everybody was all right. Well, sorry about that. Here we are. Feel free to just hop on and tell me. I apologize. I feel so bad. Anyway, here they are.
Sorry, I'm jumping in so much, but I do just want to like note that these are the statuses that we use in our area. And I did listen to the recording of one of the sessions, and I did hear that there were questions about how we use them, because there's just so many options, and the question of, do partners go in and have to change it step by step for each of these? And the answer is no. We have like a default status. If it's a new referral, it's just referral sent, but it can be whatever default status that kind of just shows the receiver, I've done nothing with this yet. And then for us, each partner kind of has to, not every status applies, if that makes sense. Like they don't need to mark it as received and then mark it as attempting contact and then mark it as referral in progress. These 3 statuses at the top were identified, and like all of the statuses were voted on and trialed by our partners. And these are what made sense to the majority of folks. And so the requirement is that at least one of these statuses is updated as like an in-between, whether that's they go straight to attempting contact or they go straight to referral in progress. Some partners do go one by one, or if they get a big batch of referrals and they know they're only going to get to like 10 that day, they mark them all as received, just so that the sending partner can see, okay, the receiver has gotten my referral. They know it's there. They're going to take action. But the only required status is one of these in-between statuses to basically say I'm working on this, and then completed or closed. But that's just how we use them in LWES 7. Is that the idea of these statuses still, or how are they hopefully being used?
Well, I think that's what we're here to define. The only thing that I would add is, we have a referral work group going right now with the state agency partners to look at policy around what is a good referral framework look like. And we're purposefully staying away from any technology discussion. So we're just coming up with, as I just said, like a broad referral framework. So I think some of that is going to bubble up in that conversation around, how do you do what is the responsibility when a referral is in progress and things like that. So I think this is a great conversation because it can help inform that discussion. So the short answer to your question is that we're here to make that up, Emma.
Great.
Oh.
So a question, do we need a new response option or use the completed option and they create a new referral? basically. And
Can you so pending sort of the outcome of the framework that we're developing, what is there some flexibility that can be built in there? So like I can decide that this LWA wants to do it this way and this LWA wants to do it that way, or no? I'm just curious. So you can leave it open-ended, and then based on like what a local policy is, you would.
I mean, well, in that case, you would need to have like a referral forwarded option, and then they could either choose to use it or not use it.
Okay.
But I mean, I would keep it consistent all the way
Yeah.
across the board
Okay.
with your options. Otherwise, you might run into.
Yeah, well, the options I think would be consistent. I wasn't suggesting that. I was just saying how you apply those options.
So we have that as a must-have, but really, we just need a little bit more time to like go through this a little bit, because there would be a workaround and to use the completed and then start a new referral. That person could send it. We just need to update the definition that goes with completed. But we only have 3 minutes left, so this is what I was trying to show you earlier. Thought I was showing you. Automated county. This is just a given. We're just gonna do that based on the address. Border state example, need to send to those who would not be a local partner not tied to entity management. I mean, we're sending, it's sent as an email, we could identify those people as partners, but, not within Illinois. I'm assuming this is a need to have because it was brought up.
Yep. Sounds like it. I think everybody's tired.
Yeah, there's nothing in like service finder that like precludes other states like the providers from being added to service finder, right?
I couldn't hear you very well, Kelly. If that was you, that was.
In the service finder, there's nothing that like precludes other states that are providing services to be entered in there, correct?
Right. Yeah.
Or like or at the entity management level or for local area.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if this, I can't remember. I think maybe Olivia was on the call whenever we typed this in here. Maybe this is more of a question. Okay. All right. Well, we are within 1 minute of our time. Those are all of our features that must-haves, like to have, that came up as we were going through the mock-ups before. The next steps can be to mock up these areas and then get feedback on those. If you have anything that you would like to share as far as on any of these items, please feel free to send it to me or, comment or add it into the mural board. And then we can go ahead and set up a call to go over these mock-ups. I'll have, I think, is Sarah still on? So, but
Yep, I'm here, Natasha.
Yep. Okay, great. So we can have Sarah and coordinate another call just to go over these mock-ups.
Okay.
All
Thanks,
right.
everyone.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.